Come and lie down onto your backs, all the way down. Feet flat, head back, hands rest on your belly, close your eyes. And just take a big few loud breaths, all the way in and all the way out. Nice big, powerful breath. And our first class of the challenge today. So just going to be very, very similar to the things we normally do in practice. But I am going to, obviously the theme is to strengthen. And with that, we'll start a bit slower, fine tune things and build things up so they become more dynamic. But just always nice to strip things down a bit and tweak small parts of your practice that make a huge difference. Also sometimes prevent injuries or niggles or bad habits, that kind of thing. So it won't be anything crazy or new, but it'll be just going over the basics today. And maybe I'll talk a bit more, break a few more things down whilst trying to keep it flowing. Take a big breath in. And a big breath out. Big breath in, feel the belly rise. Big breath out, pull the waist in. So start to find that contraction. Inhale, belly expands, muscles relax. Exhale, waist contracts and pulls down and in. 3 more there, consciously thinking about that engagement. Inhale. Exhale. A nice long breath. Inhale. Exhale. Take your arms down by your side. Push the feet into the floor. Tuck the tailbone. Roll the hips all the way up. Find your first glute bridge. So just drive down into the feet. Squeeze through the back of the hips. Open nice and wide across the collarbones. And really push down into the feet. The balls of the feet, all 10 toes, the heel, the outside edge. So think about when you see a footprint in the sand, how the footprint goes along the ball of the foot, down the outside edge and into the heel, because that's the part of the foot that you want to make contact with the ground. The inner arch, where there's the absence of the footprint, that wants to lift. So we're pulling up through that inner arch and pushing down through the outside edge, the ball of the foot and all 10 toes. Roll that down nice and slow. Pull the waist in as slowly, as carefully as you can. Rest the hips to the floor. Bring the knees to the chest. And then cross one shin over the other. Rock up to a seat. In your seated position, sit nice and tall. Rest the hands to the knees. Inhale, squeeze the shoulders to the ears. Actually feel that pressure. And then exhale, pull them back and down. Inhale. Squeeze the shoulders up, feel that pressure, really squash, and then exhale, pull them back and down. Last one, squeeze up and pull back and down. Take the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers and open across the chest. So shoulders squeeze down. So find that pinch between the shoulder blades and then pull the shoulder blades down the back. Maybe your knuckles touch the floor. If they do, you can almost push against the ground. If they don't, just reach them back into space. But if they do, you can almost lift the chest over. So it's a bit stronger, but it does mean you have to get the knuckles all the way down. So both options work. Release through the hands. Bring the hands forward, place them down and step your knees back, hands and knees. Waist in, spine in a neutral position. So just wrap in around the waist. So we talk about it a lot, but like you've got a corset on and you're tightening that corset in. Tuck your toes and just hover the knees 1 inch off the floor. Pull the belly in. Hold it for 5. Slightly tuck the tailbone, 4. Reach the crown of the head forwards, 3. Easy breath, 2. 1, rest the knees. Point the toes back, inhale, look forward, stretch through the front of the body, slide the shoulders back and down. Exhale, waist pulls in, arch and round. Big stretch. Inhale, pull the shoulders back like you're trying to slide the shoulders all the way down towards the top of the trousers. Exhale, arch and round. Pull the waist in, feel the abdominals working. Inhale, look forwards, shoulders slide down the back. Exhale, round. Last one. Look forwards, shoulders slide down the back. Exhale, round. And then I want you to balance out. So spine is neutral. We just went forwards and backwards. Going to go side to side. So look over to your left hip. Squash the left side of the body. Stretch the right side. And then come back to center. Arch through the left side. Squeeze the right side. So shortening that gap between my right shoulder and right hip. And then I go the other way. This time, whilst I'm squeezing the left side, I'm going to reach that right hand over to the left side of my yoga mat, fingertips to the floor. So now there's a big stretch through that right side. Really lengthen that right side waist. And then bring it back. Squeeze the right side, stretch the left, reach your left fingertips over to the right. Big opening through that left side. Feel the stretch. And then bring it back. Pull the waist in. Tuck your toes. Lift back and up. Downward facing dog. Heels stretch away. Wrap around through the waist. Push down into the hands. So really anchor heels of the hands, all the knuckles, the fingertips. So all of the hand is pushing down into the floor and the weight is nice and even. It's not more into the wrists than it is into the rest of the hand. Think about your chest and shoulder area. I'll try and exaggerate. Try not to drop into the chest and come forwards. Instead, push into the back of the shoulders. So imagine if we were in a studio and I placed my hand on the back of your shoulders, your shoulder blade area. I want you to push into my hand rather than fall away from it. I want you to be strong in the back of the shoulders. Navel in. Pull the pressure of the belly away from the waistband of your trousers. And then roll forwards to a plank position. Hold that plank nice and strong. So crown of the head reaches forwards, waist still pulls in, lower down one straight line. So the toes, the knees, the chest all come down one straight line. Rest to the floor, squeeze the inner thighs, point the toes, squeeze the glutes, lift your chest, hold it there, strength of the shoulders so your hands can lift and you don't drop too much. Rest the hands down. Tuck the toes, take it back into downward facing dog. We'll do that once more. So pull yourself forwards to a nice strong plank, a straight line. Don't let the knees or the chest drop down first. Lower it nice and controlled all the way down. If it gets too much, then rest the knees and lower the body. Point your toes, squeeze the shoulders, look forwards, and then release the chest back down. If you want a bit of a challenge, tuck your toes, pull the belly in, and you're going to try and push the ground away. So you come into a push-up. So it might feel a little bit too much. If it does, keep the knees down, push into half a push-up, and then go into downward facing dog. Just a nice way to strengthen through the upper body. Soften, bend the knees. Walk your feet in towards your hands, all the way forwards. Let the body fold. Relax the hands, the wrists. So if you touch the floor with the hands, turn them so your palms are face up. So no tension through the back of the wrist. Head is totally heavy. And then wriggle your feet together. So big toe knuckles touch, inner ankles touch. Look in between, so there'll be this tiny little gap in between your shins. I'm squeezing ankles, knees, inner thighs, but imagine you can see through the legs and you're looking to the back of the room. Reach your arms to the back of the room and pull yourself into a really strong forward fold. So you're trying to pull the chest towards the thighs. You're trying to reach for the back of the room. So it's really strong in the front of the body. And then bend the knees, reach the arms up and out, come into a chair. We're pulling the waist in here, spine is long. Tailbone doesn't flare back. Instead, think about pulling the tailbone under so you can wrap that corset around. Strength through the front of the body. And then exhale, fold. Go back into that strong forward fold. So you're reaching for the back of the room. Simple motion. You're trying to pull in. It's actually really strong through the tummy, through the core. Think about Olympic divers, you know, and they kind of sandwich into that little strong shape. And then bend the knees. Come back into a chair. Squeeze knees, inner thighs, all the way up to the pelvis. I'm going to stand this one tall. Let the arms fall down by the side. Close the eyes. Take a big breath. Exhale. Let the shoulders soften. And as you're stood there, just notice if you're clenching in the jaw at all, or if there's a tightness through the jaw, around the eyes. Let that be soft. Soften across the top of the shoulders. So as important to find softness and the ability to relax as it is to engage and strengthen. We need to have both for there to be benefit. Let the chin come into the chest. Slowly roll the body forwards. Pull the waist in so you're curling forwards through the spine. Slowly bring it down all the way. Hands come towards the floor. Step back into downward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Holding it there. Stretching back through the feet. Pushing down through the hands. And then bring your left hand up and place it on the left hip. So your balance is just 3 points of contact. So you're just holding that left arm up. You can reach it back behind you if you like, or place it to the lower back, just so that you challenge yourself to push down into just one hand. 3, 2, 1. Place your left hand down. Take it to the other side. You're holding that. 3, 2, 1. Place that hand down. Take a big breath in. And a big breath out. Left leg up to the sky. Inhale. Exhale, pull your left knee into the chest and step your left foot forwards. Rest your back knee down. Inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. Open through that right hip. Really tuck the tailbone. Tuck the tailbone and squeeze that right glute. So your right glute's engaged, and then you can start to move forwards into that right hip. And then imagine you have the strength to pull the knee forward. It's not actually going to move, but you're trying to bring the knee forwards so that if it was to move, the yoga mat would kind of slide up here in the middle. It would like scrunch up. I'm trying to close that gap between my back right knee and the left heel. Trying to squeeze them together. So that's going to bring in some inner thigh engagement. Inner thighs, hamstrings through that front leg. 3, 2, 1. Take both hands down. Tuck the back toes. Lift the back knee off the floor. Open your right toes out. Warrior 2. Big wide stretch. Take it out. So whilst we're low and strong in the lower body, just turn the hands and completely soften the shoulders. Just notice how much they actually drop away from the ears. So keep a softness. go lower in that left thigh. Wrap your waist in. So really try and pull round and in, like you're kind of tightening up from the front. Shoulders are soft. Right hand behind the back. Left arm lifts. Just go up to the ceiling before you arch back. Lift higher so there's more stretch from that left hip to the left fingertips, and then arch back. And then take your hands all the way down to the top of the mat. Step back into downward facing dog. Slowly roll the body forwards to a plank position. Hold it strong. Lower the knees, halfway push up. And bring it back. When you go halfway push up, take the elbows back rather than out to the side. So they almost graze my body. Then I push back up. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Big breath in. Big breath out. Big breath in. Remember to push into the back of the shoulders, not collapse. Big breath out. Right leg high. Reach that right leg up towards the sky. Bring your right knee into the chest and step. Place your back knee down. Tuck the tailbone as you lift all the way up. So strong stretch through that left hip. So you can see here, because I'm black against the white wall, so you can see really easy, but don't let the hips stick back. Tuck the tailbone under. So you are really trying to lengthen down through the lower back, and then you can squeeze that left glute, slowly move a bit further forwards. And then this idea of trying to pull the back foot forwards and draw the left knee. Does that make sense? Drawing in. So kind of trying to shorten the yoga mat almost. Here for 3. Big deep breath. 2. And 1. Hands down. Take it back into downward facing dog. No, don't take it back into downward dog. Lift your back knee off the floor. And if you did, bring your right foot forwards. Turn your left toes out, warrior 2, open wide. So I messed that up, but you should have right knee forwards, right arm forwards. Arms are wide, bend deep into that right knee. Flip the palms, totally soften the shoulders. So no stress through the shoulders, completely relaxed. Take your left hand behind the lower back. Reach your right arm up. Now, don't let yourself come out of the bend in that right thigh. Lift your right fingertips. Arch back. Big stretch. Hands come all the way down to the top of the mat. Step back this time. You can step back. Downward dog. Body comes forwards. The knees rest. Half a push-up. So watch, if you want to watch first, my elbows don't really move. My body goes forwards of my elbows. So see how there's a right angle and then come back up. If you try and go down, there's kind of nowhere to go, and that's when you get stuck. So you have to trust yourself to go forwards and back up. It's a lot of weight. Take it back, downward facing. It's strong to go that far forwards, but that's what you want to work towards. Pull in around the waist. Take a big breath. And exhale. Big breath. And exhale. Feet go wide on your yoga mat. Walk your hands all the way back. And you're going to come into a squat position. Sit in your squat there. If your heels are comfortably down, reach your hands out and try and pull the shoulders back. So try not to let yourself be rounded forwards. Try and pull back so you've got a tall spine. If the heels aren't quite down yet, just play with trying to work them down. And that might be easy if you have your hands to the floor. So just kind of think about where you are. When you're in that squat position, if you squeeze your glutes, you can almost think about moving the knees out. Your glutes externally rotate the hips, so they're going to pull the knees out when they contract. 2, 1, hands down. Walk it back in to downward facing dog and hold it there. Heavy through the back of the head. As we did a little earlier on, take one hand back and up. So take the left hand back and up. Maybe rest it to the lower back or by your side. All the weight and strength down to that right arm. Now see, you will have definitely probably slided over to the right. Try and bring yourself back to the middle of the mat. So you're not so biased to the right, you're holding your weight in the middle, and then bring your left hand down. See if you can step that left foot forwards without making a sound, which means you have to carry it higher with the abdominals and step that foot forwards. This time high lunge, reach your arms up to the sky. Lift it there, tailbone tucks, and we go forwards. I've been teaching this Thursday evening class pretty much since last summer, and my sister just rang me again twice. I can just see it there. I'm like, no, still teaching at 6 o'clock on a Thursday, Kate. Slowly come forward. So you're rising on the ball, that back foot. If we hang back here, then we hold some of the weight in that back leg. I want you to bring it forwards. So then there's more in this left thigh. Hold it for 3, 2, 1, open warrior 2. Bend into that front knee, arms reach out. Now, obviously I can see myself on the Zoom screen to you, so I can see whether I'm holding my arms down or I'm actually fully holding them out. So think about where you are in space. You might have the reflection in your camera or on a window where you can see where the arms are. Try and take them out to the sides so you do have this full lengthening across the arms and the shoulders. Take the right hand behind the back. Lift your left arm up to the sky. Lift it higher and then arch back all the way. Big stretch through that left side. Bend more into the left knee and then take the hands all the way down to the ground. Step back into downward facing dog. Hold that there, pulling in through the waist. Bring yourself forwards to a plank. So hold your plank position, but with wider feet. So I'm going to take mine so they're just short of the inside of my yoga mat. I'm holding that plank. I'm going to see if I can lift the left hand off the floor and tap my right shoulder. Place it down. Take it back. Downward dog. Feet come back together. So a lot of strength through the one arm. Don't worry if that's too much. You can just keep playing with it. Breathe in and out. Take your right hand all the way up, maybe to the lower back, or you just rest it by your side. I'm just going to actually adjust where my microphone is, so sorry if that makes a sound. And then you bring your right hand down. You carry that right knee into the chest. So the higher you lift it, the easier to step forwards without a sound. So without kind of swooshing and dragging the foot. Rise up. And then move forwards into that right thigh. So not so far hanging back in the left heel, but bringing myself forwards. So I load in the right leg. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Warrior 2, right arm forwards, left arm back. Arms are wide. Go lower in that right thigh. Ask yourself whether the arms are lifted, whether you're being a little lazy with the arms. Take them directly out. Left hand behind the back. Right arm lifts. Arch back, and then when you get there, hold. We're going lower in the right knee. 3, 2, 1. Windmill the hands all the way down and step back into downward dog. Take a big full breath. Exhale. Forwards to a plank. Hold. Left hand takes the weight, feet go wide. Right hand lifts. It will be pretty hard if you don't make the feet wider. Bring it down. Rest your knees wide. Point the toes back together. Child's pose. Rest the forehead. And I would recommend bringing the arms down by the side as well. Then you really get a rest through the shoulders. Breathe here. So just soften. I want you to think about relaxing the shoulders as you exhale. So you feel this big breath, feel the belly, feel the chest. And then as you exhale, there's just this softening. So you take this big breath, chest fills, belly fills. And then there's a softening. Go for 2 more. Big breath in. Big breath out. Big breath in. Big breath out. Push into both hands. Slowly rise up. Tuck the toes, tuck the toes, not your tailbone. Lift the hips up towards the sky. Head shakes. I've A, recorded a lot and B, taught a lot today. Breathe in and breathe out. Bend and soften the knees. Walk your feet towards the hands. So like we did before, there's going to be 1 fold forwards and then we're going to go into a chair. But in this fold, I want you to take your first 2 fingers, hook around your big toe and really pull yourself down. So if I turn so you can see, I'm taking my elbows out and I'm really trying to pull down with my shoulders, really active. So try and pull your elbows to the side of the room. Try and pull your body down, and you can use that strength through the front of the body to try and close yourself into that fold. And then this time when we come up to a chair, we bend the knees. Feet might be a bit wider, that's okay, keep them there. Inhale, reach the arms up and out. So still in a chair, just with a gap through the feet, strengthening through the legs, pulling the waist in, reaching the arms up. So see if you can get the arms so they're in line with the ears. And then fold forwards. Take your first 2 fingers, hook around your toe, pull with all your strength. Pull, really challenge the wrists, the biceps, the shoulders, and then bend the knees. Reach the arms up and out into your chair. Lengthening down through the back, wrapping in around the waist. Here for 3, 2, 1. Fold it forwards, hands come down. Place your hands down, step back into downward facing dog. Big breath in and big breath out. All the way in, all the way out. 1 more. Exhale. And then lift your left hand up so it comes off the mat, maybe to the lower back, just so you have 1 hand. Now, option here, either you're going to then place that left hand down and step your left foot to the top of the mat, or look to the top of the mat and see if you can step the left foot forwards. And then reach the arms up. You can do it, it's just whether you trust yourself. You're all capable. Come forwards into that left knee. So you are loading the left thigh. I then want you to lean forwards in a diagonal line so there's more strength loading through that left leg. But I'm pulling the belly in, trying not to collapse forwards on that left thigh. So I'm holding myself there, just like in a chair, really. My hands are in the same position, my arms past the ears, really strong in that left leg. Push down into your left footprint, so the heel the toes, the outside edge, and then warrior two. Take it out open. Big breath in. Big breath out, go in to that left knee, into the footprint. So think about pushing into the heel, the outside edge, the toes. Push into your back footprint as well. Reverse. Lift up with that left arm open through the chest. This time, exhale, you can take the hands down to the inside, all the way down, rest your right knee. Breathe in and breathe out. Big stretch through the front of the right hip and probably into the outside of the left hip. I know we've only done a couple of simple, we've just really focused on lunges and warrior twos, but that's leg heavy. So let that left thigh release. If you want, you can let that left sole of the foot open. If I just move, so you can see that foot's opening. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Inhale. Exhale. Slowly take that left knee back so you have hands and knees. And then we're going to balance on just your right hand and right knee. Your left leg kicks back into space and your left arm lifts up. So you might wobble a little when you first try and find your balance. Squeeze that left glute. Push down into the right hand. Think space across the chest, space across the shoulders. So almost like warrior two arms, but just using them in a different way. 2, 1, bring it down. Hands and knees. Tuck the toes, take it back, downward dog. Imagine someone's lifting your hips up towards the sky, pushing your hands down to the floor. So you've probably all been in a class where someone's assisted you and they've pushed your hips up, and typically what you then do as a student is you try and walk your hands in because they think you want to come back. But I want you to keep your hands as far forwards, and imagining someone's pushing your hips, all that's going to do is lengthen your spine. You don't have to move the hands. Take your right hand off the floor or to your lower back. And then either you bring it back down to help you, or you look towards the top of the mat, and with confidence, you step that right foot forwards. Rise up, high lunge. Lift your arms up to the sky. Load that right thigh. So it's simple, we're coming in to the right thigh. I can't tell, Amanda, if it's your camera angle. I can only see your legs. Can't tell if it's your camera angle or if your front foot is a bit too far forwards of your knee. This probably goes for other people as well. I can't see a lot of people's knees. Just be careful. You've not stepped so far forwards. You're like that. I want you to have your ankle underneath your knee, if that makes sense. That might be better. I don't mean to call you out. I can see your knee, but I don't know if it's the camera angle. Pull the waist in, lean forwards. So you're holding in through the waist, and slowly there's a bit of a forward shift, only needs to be an inch or so for you to feel that right thigh. Warrior two. Open it out, big breath in. Big breath out again here, bend into that right knee. Last time, reverse. Big stretch. This time, hands can come all the way down inside of the foot. Rest your left knee to the floor. And breathe here. So you're trying to find this external opening in that right hip. A release around the outside. Maybe the foot kind of faces in giving you a bit more of a twist in that hip. Breathe. Exhale. In breath. And out. Breath in. And out. And then slowly take the right knee back, hands and knees. Then we find that balance on the left side. So your left hand is down, left knee is down, right leg goes back. This works the right hip, works the left side of the torso, the left side of the body. Lift your right arm wide across the arms. Pull in with that left side waist. 2, 1, hand down. Right knee down. Half a push-up. So before you go, think about where the elbows are now, coming forwards and back up. One more, coming forwards. So it might only go a little bit because you might not want to go all the way. Push back up, sit the hips back to the heels, walk the hands in. Close the eyes and just rest your hands on the thighs. Turn the palms up so there's a softness through the wrists, through the elbows, across the chest and the shoulders. Take a big full breath and let it go. Take a big full breath and let it go. One more and let it go. Then slowly walk your hands forwards. From all fours, take your left leg back, kick it into space. So you're driving that left heel away. Pull the waist in, so just hold that line strong. And then tuck your back toes, lift up 3-leg downward facing dog. So your left leg is high. Pushing into both hands, lifting that left leg. Bring your left knee in, setting up for pigeon. So we are going to make it active and a little stronger. Take your left knee to the left wrist, and then that shin cuts across. Most of you have done this. My right knee stays there. Left hand comes to the left thigh. Right fingertips come to the left heel. So I'm holding myself here. Think about both hip bones. So the tops of your thighs, the 2 round bones in your hips. And I want you to pull them in. So imagine they're almost magnetic to the center of the body and you're trying to magnetize in from the hips. If you feel strong here, you can reach one arm up to the sky and maybe the other arm, or you just concentrate on holding the balance, because it's a lot of balance on that left shin and the right knee. Now, if you're comfortable here, you can keep those back toes tucked and lift the back knee off the floor. But that's then a lot through that left hip. So if it's too much, just rest it back down. Or maybe you lift back up. We'll all rest. Hands down, wherever you are, bring them forwards and release to the elbows. You might need to take that right knee a little further back to readjust or lengthen. That's a big stretch into the left hip there. So just breathe into it. If we've blocked up our pigeons before with cushions and blocks and pillows, but if you have them and you want to place a block in front of that right hip, I think it makes things a bit easier. It gives me somewhere to take that right hip going forwards. You might not like it. So you decide. Head is heavy. Shoulders relax. With the exhale, see if you can let go of some of that tension around the left hip. Reach it up to the hands. If you did use a block, just to make that more comfortable, take it back and out, hands down, toes tuck, take it back into downward dog. Breathe all the way in, all the way out. Close the eyes and just notice the difference through the left hip and the right hip. So how do they feel different? And then rest to the knees. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Kick your right leg back. Hold that there. Pull the waist in, drive the right heel back. Tuck your left toes, lift back into 3-leg downward facing dog. And then your right knee comes in. Place the shin across the mat. Doesn't have to be perfectly parallel to the front of the mat. That's not possible for most people's knees and hips, so don't worry about that. Take your right hand to the right thigh, left hand to the right foot. Just trying to force it is when you'll injure it, so don't worry about it. Weight is in that back knee and your front shin. Squeeze the glutes, pull in from the hips. Then if you feel like, yeah, I think I'm stable, you can take one arm up and then the other arm up. Holding yourself up nice and tall. Maybe with those back toes tucked, the back knee lifts, but it takes it strong into that front left hip flexor. So you might just keep the back knee down for now. You decide. If it was up, rest it down. Bring it forwards. Slowly down. If you want to block, place the block in front of that left hip and rest to your elbows and forearms. Forehead is down. Body heavy. Strong twist around that right thigh. Work heavy into the legs. So give them a good amount of time to twist and release. That strong rotation through that right thigh. Outer hip. Exhale, let go. Breathe in. Exhale, let it go. All the way in. All the way out. This time, when you come up to the hands, you don't need to step back into downward dog. You can just rise up to the hands, take your block out to the side if you're using one, rock onto your right seat bone and just swing that left leg around. Take both legs out, give them a little bit of a shake and a wriggle. And then step the feet together, knees out. Hold on to the shins or the front of the ankles, lift your chest, pull the shoulders back, and then just hinging from the hips, take it forwards. All the way, hands out, bow the head in. And you can imagine there's something heavy on both knees and it's being pushed out. So the knees are being worked out to the sides of the room so the inner thighs can lengthen. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in and out. Try and move forwards on that exhale breath. And then let's bring it back up. Slowly rolling up. Close the gap between the knees and shuffle to the front of your mat so you can roll back and you've got plenty of space behind you. And then lift the feet off the floor, just like you're crossing the legs on a chair. Swing that left leg over. Take your right hand to the left knee, left arm out to the side of the room, and just guide that left knee all the way over to the right. Big twist through the spine. So trying to pull your right shoulder down and your left shoulder. So your right shoulder is going to be quite comfortably anchored, but then can you roll that left shoulder down to the floor? Big long stretch through the side of the body. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Slowly come back to center. Unravel. So take your right leg over your left leg, cross, and then with your left hand, pull the knee over. Right arm reaches out to the right side of the room. Big twist. So your left shoulder is quite easily grounded. Can you pull that right shoulder down too? Breathe here. Exhale. Breath in and out. Big breath. Exhale. Come back to center. Take your feet out wide. So I want them to be, your knees are still bent, sorry. Your feet are either the very edges of the yoga mat, or maybe, if you know this, you can maybe go a little bit wider. Knees are coming in. When they touch, I want that to feel like a pretty strong internal twist through the hips. If you can't feel it, take your feet further out and then let the knees come further in. Arms go overhead, hold opposite elbows. So you get a nice stretch through the chest and the front of the body. Knees are trying to connect. Twist all the way through the thighs, from the outer hip to the inner knee. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Slow it down. Just like that nice big easy breath we found at the start of practice. Expanding the chest, the belly. And then carefully let the knees come apart slowly. Opposite to that now, feet together, knees out. Knees opening to the side of the room, opening across the pelvis. If it gets too much and you just want to stretch into a regular Shavasana, then you can extend the legs. We've worked quite heavy through the lower body, so good to give it one last long, deep stretch. Slowly deepen the breath. So it becomes fuller, maybe slightly louder, more audible. And then with the hands, just reach around for the outside of the thighs. Close the gap between the knees and hug the knees into the chest. Look up, look in towards the knees or the belly, the body. Curl yourself into one small ball.
Keep the eyes closed and just rock that all the way up. Cross your legs, have a seat.
Sit nice and tall, place the hands on the knees. Close the eyes. Wrap in around the waist. Shoulders pulling back. Crown of the head nice and tall. Spine long. And breathe. And then bring your hands into Prayer Heart Center. Thank yourself for your efforts in class and this practice. Well done. Day one done. For those of you that are doing a version or this or your own version of the challenge, however many classes you're doing. And I tried to convey that in the email. I don't want it to be that you all feel or you have to miraculously find space to squeeze in a class necessarily every day, but just set your own challenge and hold yourself accountable to that. And even if that's 2 or 3 classes, then that's great if that's what will spur you to do a little extra. Good stuff. Well done, guys.